So today we have a 2019 Corvette. I was hoping this was going to be a new C8 Corvette, but it's not. Unfortunately, it's just the ZR1. We're going to be installing paint protection film. This is the fender kit. I'm not going to show you the entire car because that would be an insane video. I haven't touched paint protection film in quite a long time. Probably the last kit I installed was over 2 years ago, and that was some customer bought kit. This is going to be interesting. We're using Xpel's pre-cut kits. This is not sponsored by them. This is literally what we're using in the shop. We got a handful of things to install this. We're going to be going over the full fender. I actually installed the passenger side first just so I could get my feet wet with it again, take what I learned off of that side and move it over to the driver's side. We are just going to do the best that we can and see what happens. So the first thing that we need to do is prep the surface. All I'm using is really my spray tank with baby shampoo. This thing has already been washed and clay barred. This weird dealie is something I've never seen before. I guess it's called a clay rag. It's what they had available here. So the concepts are pretty simple. Just make sure your surface is as clean as you can possibly get, and then you're gonna be spraying a lot of solution to hopefully run all that dirt and stuff off the fender. So that's why I'm using my spray tank, so I can just continuously spray thoroughly, feeling for any little bits. You can take a light squeegee to it, getting all the dust and stuff like that. So as minimal damage to this as possible is what we're aiming for. I really just get the bulk of the water and then I'll soak down the edges. So now I gotta go peel the kit and put it on here. I can't set up a good angle for peeling the kit. I actually don't have a great way of doing it. Once the film is on here, we're gonna talk about installation. See how this is hanging right here? This kit is cut around the carbon fiber sections. It's really like a stretchy puzzle that you have to like tack down, stretch it, and get it to form. This stuff stretches, it doesn't shrink, so it's not like window film. I can't take this big finger right here, shrink it with a heat gun and press it out. It's a wet application, it's not a dry application, so if you're really good with vinyl, you'll be able to get the hang of paint protection film, but there are some things that you need to know. We can let this sit here for a minute. Once you get it on the car, that's the biggest thing. You want to start tacking it down, but we got to spray a special solution underneath it. Now this is Xpel's own gel. They sell it on their website. It's what most professionals will use for installation kits, very popular stuff. 50% Xpel gel and 50% water, that's all that's in here. You can also get away with using just water, some baby shampoo, and alcohol, but I actually got this tip a long time ago and I want to share it with you guys. Hand sanitizer. If you fill it up with like 50% hand sanitizer, 50% water, and add a little bit of soap into it, it works super well. You can still spray it out and then it'll basically, like if I spray this on here, it's got a higher viscosity than just water. So without getting super technical because I don't know what to say. My soapy water is used to loosen things up and shift things around. And then what some people call a hot mix, that the gel is going to be used to tack things down. So it's been sitting for a little bit, but you can see if I start to wiggle it, it's moving. If I had gel underneath it, it would just lock up in place right away. So we need to just spray a bunch of it here, and then this is gonna act as our tack point. So I'm looking at all my edges. Everything looks like it's lined up, you know, like half an inch from the edges, whatever the kit looks like. And then we can manipulate the kit and stretch it where it needs to go. This headlight here is a little farther back than I'd like to see, but that probably just means that more needs to be stretched in that area. So we're gonna start I wanna start right above this line. Just kind of get it in place. And then we're trying to make sure as much moisture is out of it as possible. You want to keep it even, just like ripple this whole thing out as smooth as you possibly can. And all these edges is really where you're gonna run into the most difficult spots. We're gonna start along this way, and I'm checking this end right here, because this all looks like it'll be nice and easy to tack down. And I'm just shifting it slowly and starting back where I started to squeegee out, and we're just continuing that whole wave. And then for this ridge, sweep these air bubbles down so I don't have any little air bubbles bunching up on the very edge of this fall off point for the fender. Oh yeah, I also didn't put much gel over here at all either. So that's another thing. So when you peel the film back up, you can do that a bunch of times. You just want to make sure the surface is clean. Now it's tacking up in place really, really fast. So you need to spray it with the gel, and then that activates the adhesive, really dries things out, and then gets it to lock in place so you're not fighting with it, which is awesome. I'm gonna peel this back and soak it down. After I rinse it, let's go ahead and spray some gels. You also have to kind of use it to wash out. Ew, let's make sure that settles under there. Oh, that's why that was so dumb. Okay, alrighty. I thought my kit was like way weird. Nope, it's just me. So, I think somewhere in there. Oh, what's that? I got a little speck here. If ever I've seen somebody want something redone over one speck, it's paint protection film. There we go. That's why we're always spraying, soaking, reapplying. It's just a very tedious process. So I'm not super happy with where this part is lining up. I seem to have done a little bit better on the passenger side. So we're gonna see what we can do about that. So this might give us some headache, but I think I can manage it, hopefully, with enough time, patience, and cursing. See, I'm gonna push this down and it's gonna pop back up. Like, that's what really sucks about paint film. So we're gonna rinse this out and then try and tackle this all in a couple of goes. That edge lined up. This has a little bit of contoured stretch to it. Ooh, look at that, that's pretty. I also wish this was up on like race ramps or a lift. It's not right now. It will be for the front bumper, but this fender's not too bad. So this ridge just goes straight over it. I'm going backwards. I went like this and it started to fuck up on me on the other side, so we're just making some backward strokes over it. Quick intermission, we have this section mostly done. The only spot that we have left is right in here. We got, some air pockets and it looks like the cut is coming over the edge a little bit. So we gotta put a little bit more effort into that, but we can let it sit. The rest of it is in place, squeegeed out. And this has been sitting on here for a little while, so we need to pick this up, spray it down with some soapy water, get it all nice and even again, and then spray our hot mix and then lay that down. So you're kind of just shooting it up underneath. And I probably could have moved this whole pattern this way just a little bit. This cut, I think, is just a little far back. And then sweep. This is back a little far, and then these ones are almost touching the edge already, with very minimal stretching. So it did the same thing for me on the other side. So I probably just didn't stretch it out quite right. I could easily try and blame this on the kit being a little bit short there, but it's been a long time since I've touched paint protection film, so. Okay, so we are coming into the final stretch. We got this little bit right here. So this is the area that I said earlier I was gonna let sit for a little while. That helps it to dry out, but we are gonna spray it, so I guess maybe that's not the most helpful thing. Now we got a Jiffy steamer. We need some steam in these edges, probably a little bit, to just help lay everything down. As soon as you start applying steam to it, it'll really soften the material and make it very malleable. It'll get it to soften up, tack up faster, lay down more aggressively, but you can also overstretch an area. So right here, I don't like all this bunching up. If you can manage all these spots to very little points and just slowly but surely get it to lay down. And we also have air bubbles that start to pop up in here, which makes this all just very challenging. Let's get all this to lay down. Because it's like you're trying to finesse a piece of plastic into place. I mean, that's what makes tinning difficult, but still. Oh, sweet. Ooh. We have just a little bit of overlap. That's fine. We have a couple little teeny tiny things popping up. We'll trim those off. And we'll make sure all the edges are tacked down a little bit, and we'll call it a day. All right, so we actually got the fender done. Turned out pretty good. Overall, I'm happy with the results. I by no means am an expert at this. Let's be critical of our own work here. This section didn't lay down as smoothly as I'd hoped. It was just this little indentation here gave me the most difficult time. This, I think, is a little bit shorter than I'd like. That edge isn't too bad. I like to try and keep them as close to the edge as I possibly can. This edge right here, if the light hits it just right, you can see how it trails back to about this point. That's what I would have adjusted the most. Everything on these edges turned out pretty well. We seamed up to the ends relatively well. Turned out really clean overall. So that's gonna wrap it up for this fender at least. I got the rest of the bumper and stuff to do, so I gotta get going on that. Hopefully the rest of it goes well and you guys enjoyed watching this video. Like I said, last kit I touched was 2.5, 3 years ago, so it's not my realm of expertise, but if you are interested in paint protection film, there's some good schools that are out there. I'll try and drop links in the video description to some more PPF resources because I'm probably not gonna have anything PPF related in the near future, but you know, maybe something will happen. So as always, hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one.